The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf.
We're well positioned for gas and oil in northern Namibia. We're hoping for some liquids because that allows our early production system to truck and rail and get cash flow with the project. But if it's more gas prone, then we're really well positioned to service this part of the continent.
All right, welcome back inside our Proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Brian Reinsborough. He is the CEO of ReconAfrica. And Brian, it's great to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing great, Stephen. Thanks for having me back on your show.
Yeah, good to have you back. And with some pretty significant news, producing first onshore hydrocarbons in Namibia. This is a big accomplishment, not only for the company, but for the country as well. So why don't you sort of set the stage for us on what you're announcing here?
No, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. And we are super excited about what we did the last few weeks on the Kavango well. This is a new geological play we're opening up, and it's the second well that's been penetrating the continent of Africa, these rocks. So whenever you're able to bring up hydrocarbons to surface on a second well, you got a lot of things going right for you. So we're very pleased with this. We didn't get all the answers that we wanted to in that zone. We'll go back and try to answer some more of those. But this is a really good start, and I am super excited, as is my exploration team, Chris Zabrinsky and the guys. We really like what we see here.
So, Brian, just so people understand, what exactly was produced and what were you looking at, just so we understand?
Yeah, so we're doing a production test, which means we isolate all the zones individually, and then we test them, we acidize them, and then we test them. We flared hydrocarbons, natural gas, and potentially liquids at surface. We collected samples, and those samples are being sent back to the U.S. for analysis. And that analysis really tell the liquid content and what it may look like. But we flared, we had the well open for about 24 hours total and intermittent gas during that period, which is great. So we know the hydrocarbons are there, and we know the petroleum system is working, and we know we're in a fractured reservoir system, and we know those fractures can deliver producible hydrocarbons. So that's really good. Now, keep in mind, this is a vertical well, which is commonly drilled in exploration. And we know the orientation of all these fractures. So what we want to do in one of our next sets of operations is consider doing a horizontal well, a sidetrack from the existing well bore. And what that'll do is it'll get our well bore more exposed to more fractures and see even better rates than what we saw in this vertical well. So we're in the right path here. Everybody needs to be patient, opening up these new plays, but the upside where we're testing here is simply remarkable for the country and also for our shareholders at Recon.
Yeah. Brian, you mentioned the news release about some equipment-related issues, and I thought it was kind of interesting the way you described it. Can you sort of update us on that and what that means?
No, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, you can never put everything in a press release. They get too long if you try to explain everything. But the issue that was referenced is our main service provider, who is Schlumberger. They provide all the testing equipment on surface. And the separator, which is a unit that has the hydrocarbons flowing into it where you measure gas and oil, that was provided by Schlumberger. It was really an offshore deep water separator unit because that's all they had available in Africa. And those deep water separator units have much higher capacity thresholds. So it has a minimum pressure you have to go through, and also a minimum flow rate that has to go through that are really designed for these ultra deep water wells. So it wasn't fit for purpose for onshore, and that's the reason we couldn't get good measurements because of that. We had to use an offshore separator. Now, if we do subsequent operations, we'll probably procure one from North America and have it come in and get valid flow rates and stuff like that. So that was the issue referenced in the press release.
Okay. Obviously, this is a significant step for the company. Great market opportunities here in the future with natural gas. Talk to me sort of the big picture of what you're starting here and really where you're headed.
Yeah, the big picture is great because we're well positioned for gas and oil in northern Namibia. We're hoping for some liquids because that allows our early production system to truck and rail and get cash flow with the project. But if it's more gas prone, then we're really well positioned to service this part of the continent. We're looking very hard with our partners, BW Energy and NAM Power in country. But gas to power is probably the most economical route, servicing both Namibia for energy, electrical energy, and then going north into areas like Zambia, which are commercially really starved areas for electricity. So, what I like about this project are both commodities are very, very valuable. Gas may take a little bit longer, but the value there is very attractive to us.
Absolutely. Well, significant milestone for sure, Brian. Thanks for sharing it with us. Really appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Thanks for your questions, and love to be on your show. So thanks so much.
All right. Look forward to talking to you again. Brian Reinsborough, the CEO of ReconAfrica.
The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf. It is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, an offer, or a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Viewers should conduct their own research and consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of Proactive Group Holdings, trading as Proactive Investors, or its affiliates. No responsibility is accepted for any loss arising from reliance on the information presented.